Just a reminder before today's programme that if you missed it, you can check out the previous instalment of the Ident Review, where we took a look at the 2007 Idents for E4. Also in our spin-off show, the Ident Review Extra, the BBC Two journey continues, now completed its 6th week, with episode 18, War and Peace. And now, here on AMTV, time for the latest instalment of the Ident Review, and this time we're heading over to Channel 5, one of its sister channels, for a highly requested channel in its 2011 Idents. Originally launching as 5 Life back in 2006, the channel's programming initially catered towards a female audience. This continued when the channel was rebranded into Fiverr in 2008. However, in 2011, the channel would be rebranded and renamed again, this time to simply 5 Star, not to be confused with the 80s pop band of the same name.
I'd like to ask 5 Star where they're so crap.
With this rebrand and redesign to its presentation, 5 Star aimed to target all sorts of audiences rather than just a female demographic, and I suppose one factor of a rebrand is to catch attention and maintain interest. So let's see if the channel idents at the time did just that, starting with the first on our list today, Flyover.
Now on 5 Star we join the weird but wonderful couple Dharma and Greg.
Seemingly simple, but there's elements of depth here. First off, to talk about the general 5 Star logo, I really like it. The design keeps the similarities with the main Channel 5 station, creating a sense of uniformity and consistency within the brand. However, I'm glad they made the star symbol the main focus of the sequence. I love the effect of it duplicating itself into a variety of bright colours, zooming around the screen, taking us around this scene that we have found ourselves in. Admittedly, the sight of a flyover doesn't necessarily provoke the most excitement or entertainment. I mean, I've seen many flyovers in my time and not many make me go wow, but just when you think it's getting a little bit too boring, right at the end, we seem to have one of this ident set's gimmicks. We see a snapshot of another world through the star, a world that's infinitely more colourful and alive than the one we are used to. Other channels have incorporated this snapshot tactic before, and there's a good reason for it, because it's effective. If done correctly, it can provide such a difference to the ident that audiences immediately take note. Let's see if my attention can be maintained with our next sequence today, Funfair.
Sam's looking for Carla and he might just be getting closer. Now on 5 Star, we're turning up the heat with Burn Notice.
Again, there's lots to like. Whereas what let the flyover down for the most part was the severe lack of colour, Funfair fixes that instantly. Right away we see the many varied colours that the bright lights of the fairground offer, and just like they do in real life, they slowly pull you in. You want to go inside, explore, see what there is to see and do what there is to do. The 5 Star logo whizzes round once again, splitting off into its different duplications and colours, which still works well, but I wish they would change the colour scheme of the logo with each ident, if anything just to add more variety. But especially in the already colourful scene of a fairground, it could make this even better. The snapshot effect returns here, and whilst it is cool and a little wavy to see a Ferris wheel made out of strange blocks and lovely purples and blues, if all this gimmick is going to offer is some abstract blocky art, then it's going to get old very quickly. But let's see if that's the case with our next ident of the day, Mall.
3 kids who couldn't be more different, brought together by the constant pain and embarrassment that is parents. Yep, don't go anywhere. 5 Stars off to visit Shea Hennessy now in 8 simple rules.
Nice on the surface, but the appeal is wearing a bit thin. Let's address the good first, shall we? What I definitely like is how this video shows off the vastness of a good shopping mall. When you're a kid, at least for me, there was nothing more exciting than going to this place with multiple floors, endless amounts of shops, and a whole multitude of quirky odds and ends in between. And the way the camera work has been done here, as it descends through the various floors, is really well done. It's not too quick, but equally not too slow that so you switch off. Again, we have the lovely 5-star logo zooming around before settling, and the final image I quite like. To have the bright whiteness of the logo shine out amongst the darker colours of the lower floors is quite appealing, though I wish it wasn't stark white for the logo, but that is a nitpick. The snapshot we get this time sees a tree turn into a mass of pink and blue plus symbols with the odd licorice allsort thrown in. I'm joking of course, but that's what it reminds me of. I still long for them to get a bit more adventurous with the snapshot idea, more than just abstract shapes and bright colours, but it seems that the remaining idents today will also follow this pattern. Or will they? Let's find out now with our next sequence, Park.
Now on 5-star catch-up with the bad boy antics of Malcolm and his brothers in Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay, now my interest is back. I've realised one thing I haven't discussed so far is the music for this set, and that's partly because it's been so forgettable that it hasn't been worth mentioning. However, the soundtrack for this one instantly caught my attention. Yes, you could argue it sounds quite typical of what a pop or dance beat sounded like in 2011, but it's certainly a good one. All the way through, my main focus for the most part was just on the audio rather than the visual, so it's definitely the best sounding of these idents so far. The snapshot gimmick this time is also infinitely more interesting. Sure, it is just bright colours and abstract shapes again, but this time it feels more suggestive, because the first time I saw it, I looked as if these park trees had become huge pulsating eyeballs. Honestly, have another watch and tell me you don't see a form of eyeball somewhere within there. The only thing that ruins this new intrigue is that the snapshot lasts for way too short a time. Just when you start to get thinking about what it could be, it's gone. So, had a few seconds more been shown, this could have been a real winner. What I will give it credit for is that the final image of the 5-star logo hanging above the park trees is a truly stunning shot, in a frame and on the wall worthy, I think. Right then, next up, let's have a look at Station.
He's nerdy and nervy. Super geek Chuck is the reluctant visitor in a world of CIA secrets, all new at 9. First, Will Smith to the rescue in Hancock.
And sadly, the positives of Park have gone. Remember how I said the music in Park was an example of what I considered to be a good 2011 pop dance beat? Well, the music for Station is the complete opposite. It's annoying, it's irritating, and the lackluster hey sound effects that kick in just make it feel really cringy, like a bunch of older adults thought this was a cool soundtrack. Awful audio aside, the premise of being in a train station is absolutely wasted here. A train station can be so unique and layered with details, and when it started, I was excited to see what the snapshot gimmick would offer. Maybe it would be to the same intrigue as Park and take something very familiar in a station and make it look like something I had never seen before. But no, instead it takes one of the hanging signboards, throws in a few moving abstract shapes that are in a series of bright colours, and that's really it. It's a shame, but like I said, whilst the snapshot gimmick does work the first few times, unless you're showing us something really unique or something really quirky and creatively different, then we as an audience are going to lose interest, and fast. However, we still have one more ident to look at today, and this one has a far more festive flair. Here's the 5-star Christmas ident used for 2011 and 2012.
5 stars got the entertainment. All you've got to do is supply the nibbles. Get the family round for back-to-back movies with Monster House at 5:15 after open season.
I have mixed feelings on this one. When we see the setup here, I was initially quite interested. I mean, as soon as I saw the pile of cardboard boxes, it seemed almost inevitable that the snapshot gimmick would turn into these boxes of a Christmas tree. And sure enough, I wasn't wrong. But I can't really blame the designers. I mean, why not go with one of the most recognisable pieces of iconography from the holiday season? Whilst the quirky Christmas tree does look nice and visually appealing, I am disappointed that the green screen that takes up a good 3/4 of the scene isn't utilised at all. I understand that it is probably there just to set the scene for us that the design team is creating something completely different, but even to have adapted or used the green screen in the snapshot to show us, well, anything, would have made this infinitely more interesting. As Christmas idents go, I'm afraid to say it's not really that engaging. and there are infinitely better ones out there from a variety of channels. Still, it's got a Christmas tree, so it can't completely fail now, can it? In summary, the first idents to go out under the name of 5-star are a super mixed bag. Whilst the concepts and sequences themselves may look nice and have a certain degree of visual appeal, for the most part, at least for me, there just isn't enough happening here to maintain viewer interest. Perhaps for the first or second time around, but certainly not with a longevity to them the same way that other ident sets have. They are far from the worst I've ever seen or covered here on the show, but I would hope throughout 5-star's life that the idents that came later would build upon these ideas, or just offer us something completely new. And maybe one day, we will cover that progression here on the show. And so we've come to the end, but before we go, the final words from our broadcaster. That was all this week for this instalment of the Ident Review. I hope you all enjoyed watching it, and we hope that you tune in next week. Keep an eye on the community tab and the Sunday catch-up for further information about this programme, as well as all the others that are broadcast here on AMTV. But until then, have a good week, and we hope that you'll join us again soon. Good night.